What's up, people? It's Tanisha Girl 30 here, and this is my Raw review for August 20th. This is the Raw that is right after SummerSlam. There was a lot of things that happened, and I have to say they actually did do a good job tonight. I really was entertained, and this was probably the best Raw I have ever seen after a pay-per-view in a very, very long time. These guys really did a good job, and I am highly impressed with what they did. But honestly, I have to say that the opener was really good to actually see Brock Lesnar come out there. And the reason why that this was good was the fact that it actually did make people feel. I mean, it actually did make it a little bit of a somber moment for all those Triple H fans out there. It actually did make a lot of people kind of realize what happened after last night. I think it was a great call on their part to actually have not only Paul Heyman out there, and Paul Heyman was great on the mic. He really, really was. And the fact that it had the ref come out there and Brock Lesnar actually said thank you. I mean, that was probably the best moment I've ever seen, like ever for me. And but besides that, I have to say the matches were really really done very well, especially the 3-on-3 tag team match with the Boom Truth and Sin Cara versus Cody Rhodes and the Primetime Players. Let's face it, it will never be the same without AW, but since he's not there anymore, we have to move on, and that's another video that I'm probably going to do later on about whether or not it will be good to have AW return if he had an opportunity. But anyway, that's another video in itself. But that match was really well done. I actually did. It was quite entertaining actually watching them actually perform. But not only that, it actually did kind of introduce to you a possible feud with Cody Rhodes and Sin Cara. So I'm actually looking forward to that as well. Honestly, I have to say that there were a lot of highlights for the night. For the night for me, one big highlight of the night, well, really not so much of a highlight, but more like a shocker, was AJ. I have to say that AJ was definitely not the whole. I mean, usually I would think of her as a skipping, crazy Lolita, that 12-year-old Lolita with power issues. But honestly, she really did make some interesting matches tonight. The most interesting match that I saw that she's ever made was Dolph Ziggler and Chris Jericho's match. That if Chris Jericho lost, his contract would be null and void, and if Dolph Ziggler lost, then he would have to relinquish his Money in the Bank to Chris Jericho. So that was an interesting call, but that was something I really wouldn't see that's done on a Raw. This is more something that would be done on a pay per view, but hey, I'm not beefing about anything being free. But honestly, seeing that match, these guys will always put on a great show. We know they will always put on a great show, and I was highly impressed. But in the end, he actually did have Dolph Ziggler go over. Dolph Ziggler ended up keeping his Money in the Bank, while unfortunately Chris Jericho is now saying bye bye. For now, that is. We all know that he's going to be on tour with Fozzy. So honestly, he's not going to be there anyway, even if he did win the match. So I think it was a good call on their part. We're not going to see him for a while, but I think it was kind of just deserves the fact that he actually gave Dolph Ziggler a cold breaker and kind of bashed him over the head with the Money in the Bank briefcase. So I think it was kind of just deserves. It was a good way to go out. Honestly, I'm really shocked of three things. Number one, they had a Divas number one contenders match for the belt. Sure, they actually trying to make it relevant, but like I was talking to my homegirl, Tama Girl 101, yeah, they don't really have any decent feuds anymore. So yeah, that's a shame. That's pretty much the reason why they're really not being all that, put out there, because their feuds kind of suck. And it lasts like this much, this long. But honestly, at least they were out there. At least they were able to get their good 2-3 minutes in. And Caitlyn ends up being the number one contender for the Divas Championship, probably at Night of Champions against Layla. That should be interesting. Seeing Caitlyn pretty much go against the champion. I mean, somebody had to throw her a bone. I mean, shoot, her best friend is now a GM, and what has she got? She was barely in a feud. So yeah, you gotta throw her a bone. She may or may not win. I hope she does, because she really needs it for her career. But another thing that really did interest me was the fact that there were two feuds that actually started to reheat up again. Number one, something that should have happened last night. These two matches should have happened last night on SummerSlam as filler instead of ending 15 minutes early. Damien Sandow versus Brodus Clay. This should have happened last night. This match should have happened last night, but it happened on Raw instead. honestly, this was a great match. It really shows that these guys will have a really great feud. And yes, Damien Sandow for some strange reason was wearing pink granny panties. I don't understand why, and I don't know what was going on with Brodus Clay's hair. But regardless of all that, the match was really really good, and it really did make me happy that they tried to re-hype up the feud. And even though Damien Sandow came out with a win, Brodus Clay still came out on top by actually taking some retribution shots. So this feud is going to continue, which really makes me happy. They're actually going to start some mid card feuds, which makes me even happier. What makes me even happier is this: Jinder Mahal and Ryback's feud are starting to heat back up again. It should have heated up a long time ago, but they kept trying to cool it down and put it on the back burner. But now that Jinder Mahal came out there with a cheap shot and ran out, it shows they're actually going to start heating up this feud, and it really does make me happy to have two good mid card feuds that are going to possibly start heating up and probably push forward. And I'm looking forward to seeing this on a pay per view, and I hope they do it. But those are like the three most surprising things of the night. But the main event of the night for me, honestly, the main event of the night for me was Jericho, but the main event itself happens to be CM Punk and him coming out there. Now, honestly, everything that John Cena says is something that everybody has known for a very long time. He has been overlooked. He was overlooked by AJ. He was overlooked by Triple H. He was overlooked by even John Cena. We all know this. And honestly, with him coming out there, I mean, it wasn't all that bad. You know, John Cena ended up having his say, you know, truth, justice, and the American way. But honestly, I don't really see the need of the king being taken out. Like, I don't know. I guess that was a typical heel move, but the thing is, we really don't know exactly which direction the CM Punk is trying to go. He's not really a tweener. He's not really an anti-hero. We don't know what he is. The fact is that he's trying to prove, he seems more like a frustrated face, but what does he have to be frustrated about? I mean, sure, he doesn't get respect, but he has the belt. But then he does heel stuff, but he's still a face. I mean, they really don't know what to do with him just yet. They keep teasing heel turns, but it's nothing that's like permanent yet. So it's just confusing. But I think the biggest highlight of everybody's night was when Triple H, not Triple H, but was when HBK actually was pretty much from via satellite actually talking about what Triple H was going through after him losing the match to Brock Lesnar, whether or not he was going to retire, him hinting retirement. Honestly, it really shows how much respect that man has, because you can literally drop a pin and nobody would speak, except for maybe a few hecklers that had to say something. But regardless, that was a really touching moment. HBK always seems to definitely make the moments a lot more heart wrenching, and especially the fact that he had tears coming in his eyes. He really did milk the moment for what it was, and that was an excellent segment. It really was. I have to say that, I mean, I know I probably didn't talk about all the matches, but that was just the ones that actually came out to me. The one thing I'm definitely going to say about this is the fact that I really do believe this is the best Raw I've ever seen after a pay-per-view in a very long time. People are going to disagree with me. I don't care. That's how I feel about it. I really think that they did a really great job on tonight's Raw. It was not bad. It did not stink. It wasn't horrible like it usually is. I think they did a fairly good job. So they get definitely a good thumbs up from me. That is my verdict, and I'm sticking to it. What do you guys think about it? Leave your comments in the comment section below, or send me a video response. I really want to hear what you guys have to say. This is Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. See you later.